Hi, I am canceling Freestyle the News tomorrow or today. It depends on when I post this. Too much work, Evo and everything like that. But honestly, what happened today? This is the worst possible thing that could have happened. Period. In this entire election cycle. And I need to make this really fucking clear to everybody where we are right now, right? Let's say you hated Trump. Like I hate him. I despise Trump, right? It's not even trying to play respectability politics, okay? Whether or not you feel like, oh my gosh, I wish, like all these memes about, oh, the shooter missed, I wish he wouldn't have missed. You don't understand. This escalates things to such a degree that we cannot go back if we don't act accordingly right the fuck now. There are so many people that I see who have advocated political violence in the last 6 months. Right-leaning people, definitely, MAGA people, a lot of left-leaning people, a lot of leftists and progressives. And listen, I understand the idea that we got to fight for our beliefs and everything like that. But there are some people who just specifically crave violence. That is an apolitical thing. There are people who specifically crave political violence, and they live their lives looking for an opportunity. And all of those people right now are have found their reason. Every single presidential rally from here on till November is a fucking dangerous event to be at. Do you understand? From now on, who's one MAGA nut job who goes, you know what? They did it to Trump. Time to fight back. One progressive nut job going, you know what? They missed. I'm going to try to do it again. This shit is untenable. Not again. We have to stop it fucking now. So listen, obviously, the rhetoric and the division that Donald Trump built his campaign around has a lot to do with this, right? You can't discount the environment and the ads and the positioning and the misinformation and the influencer culture around politics for the last few years either. Period. I don't give a fuck whether you feel like, oh, I wish it would have hit or not. Cut that shit out now. As of now, if you want to live in any sort of world where anything gets done, where people are okay, you have to make a significant decision on the way you approach things and the way you talk. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next few days. Obviously, almost every Democratic official is going to come out and condemn this, which they should. Every Republican official will obviously condemn this. This needs to be widespread condemnation because the whole reason we were worried about this fucking president coming into power was this sort of shit. Was the fact that it was open season. You don't know. Look, we are significantly worried about democracy. We are significantly worried about Biden's age and competency. All of those are true, but this cannot be something that happens. And again, I'm telling you, certain people crave political violence. If you're one of those people who is like, a revolution's going to happen and, you got to be prepared for it. And you think this is the time, it's time. I'm amped up to rise for revolution. Sit the fuck down. Fuck out of here. Please. There are people who will be hurt by this, not just fucking Trump. More people will take this kind of insanity into their own hands. This is a world that lives and breathes off of consequences. And the consequences of this are dire. So this is my ask to everybody who watches me and who even cares about my content. If you've ever liked anything I have said, this is the spirit in which it's said. It's not to play nice with your oppressors. That's not what I'm fucking saying. I am telling you right now, we have to re-examine how we approach all of this. All of this. It was bad enough when it was shootings in schools. It's bad enough when it was shootings of just in normal public places. Now when we have shootings at political rallies and everything is tied to culture with this, now everything is on the map. Every identity issue, every single thing now has the option to become politically violent. This cannot happen again. This is the line. And yeah, it happened with JFK and it happened when all of those every other assassination attempt throughout history, right? Presidents have been divisive, but there has been a rally around the flag effect, come together. Donald Trump has based his entire career on division. This isn't even about Donald Trump, honestly. It's not even about Joe Biden. It is about this upcoming election, every election afterwards, every conversation you have from this day forward. You think I'm overreacting? I'm not. It just can't happen again, guys. It can't. People you love will be in danger just because they don't like it's not a game. And to those saying that, well, what if he didn't miss? Like, what if he didn't miss? It would have been worse. It would have been worse. Have you studied the rise of fascism other places? There's always a failed assassination attempt. Sometimes there's a successful one and someone worse comes into power. Okay? It's always bad. The wrong people are leading our conversations. The most insane people who don't care about trans rights, who don't care about women's rights, who don't care about securing the border, who don't care about the Second Amendment. The worst people are leading our conversations and making them about trying to kill each other. We've always thought this was like, that'd be fucking awful. And now when faced with it, immediately you start thinking about how bad this is going to get. How bad is the next 24 hours going to be? We have to re-examine how we approach politics and how we approach our identities. People consistently live under horrific conditions. We live in a terrible fucking world right now that consistently forgets others for our own agency. And because of that, privileges get expounded. And I'm tired of it. I've been tired of it for a while, and it will get worse if we keep getting to places where it's always about kill the figurehead, kill the other person. Like just pull up the gun, like start fighting. This isn't the French Revolution. This is 2024. Everything is different. The time you live in is different. Wake the fuck up. Draw the line. Because if we cross it, there is no going back. So I'm back. Been a long day. I usually try to follow Phil's feelings and his kind of like setup of not giving shooters attention and not broadcasting their names or anything like that. This specific instance, I think it's worth talking about. Specifically, his name is Thomas Matthew Crooks. He was a registered Republican. He was wearing a pro Second Amendment shirt, had a rifle. Look, let's play this out. In the actual world, in the real world, divorced from media, I don't think who he is should matter. I think the reason it matters is because what his intention was. And let's say this person is a Trump supporter in any way. The only narrative that should tell you is that people want violence. Honestly, after the reactions of what I've seen over the last, like 10 hours, it's been barely a day. It should tell you that we're not in a healthy place as a society the way people are acting, especially TikTok. TikTok is full of people trying to make this about you want respectability politics. Why are you more worried about Trump than the kids in Gaza? This is white liberals. I'm not a white liberal. I am a brown person who has cared about Palestine for a long time. And I still think this is scary. And I think the fact that people are trying to use this as a football is fucking horrifying. This should be a wake-up call. Period, point blank. Cut the bullshit. We're not going to have a revolution like everybody thinks we're going to have a revolution. We're not going to have a version of the reality we want if we keep going down this way. The people who are incentivizing you to try to trip over colors, right? Like it's like you're from a different set. That's not the way to go. I heard so many people say like Democrats or liberals wanted this. You know, I had so many people say, well, you know, he deserved it. Donald Trump definitely created the environment that we are in right now. But the reason that environment is scary is because this shit can happen, right? And I know we all want to play the curb theme. If that bullet would have been like 2 inches closer, but that wouldn't have been as satisfying as you think. It would have made him a martyr. It would have solidified all of the problems and the hateful rhetoric he is. I think a lot of people want a visceral punch because they feel it will satisfy this hole that is in them of all of the awful things that have happened to them. But it won't. It won't. There was a point when I was with my father and I was living with him, and his alcoholism had gone off the rails. And there was a point where we just got into a fist fight, and he would always threaten me, like, I'll beat the shit out of you. I'll do all this stuff like that, you know? And I finally, all right. And I swung, and I obviously won. Obviously. And I was like, see, I proved you wrong. And as I walked upstairs, that didn't feel shit. Honestly, it made things worse. I proved him wrong, and I was also abusive, and I was also terrible. Yeah, I'm justified. He fucking asked. He created the environment that was there. But the consequences for me, irregardless of that environment, were not positive. My life got much worse because of that decision. And, you know, we patched things up. He went to rehab. You guys kind of know the story where, you know, he eventually succumbed to his alcoholism, you know, and all of that. And that was far behind us when that had happened. It's not a sniper on the roof situation, but it is wanting violence to solve a problem that is emotional and social and toxic. Like, it's not going to do that. We talk about violence and revolutions when situations become untenable. That's not what this is right now. That's not what this is. This is violence because people want violence, and they romanticize the idea that, oh, revolution is coming. We got to get ready. I saw somebody tweet, who I followed and no longer follow. I'm not praying I'm going to be ready. I'm getting ready. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Shut up. It's so performative, and it's dangerous, and it's people wanting to satiate a part of themselves that shouldn't be there. We have to dead this shit like tomorrow. Honestly, as horrifying this is an opportunity to re-examine how we approach this stuff. And again, that does not change any of the problems that Donald Trump has presented to the world. He has created the environment that makes shit like this happen, right? You can say he created this guy who maybe wanted a false flag or whatever reason. There's plenty of things you can say that Donald Trump had a hand in playing in this, right? But what do you want? Do you want people to suffer? Or do you want a world where this shit just doesn't happen? I just want it to not happen. I just want, when somebody says shit that's awful and terrible and incites violence and incites division, for them to be like, yo, shut the fuck up. And they're ignored. Not for them to get a platform, them to be shot at, and for people in their audience to be killed. Because there were people in the audience who were killed as well. I have a fearful feeling that there are some people in the comment section who want that blood. It's not going to end up how you like it. That's our show. I love you guys. Stay safe. I know it's scary. All right? But let's do the work. Let's re-examine ourselves. Let's be smart about it. And let's come out of this as people who aren't prey to the same issues that built this moment. As Kratos said, let's be better. Thank you guys so much for watching. Talk soon.